Now, time for Baseball Night in New York with John Jastrzemski and Anthony McCarron. In your wildest dreams, Luis Guillorme hitting that home run, tying the game. So we have this Mets magic. Are we all in here?
I think you have to be, CJ, with the way this team has played in winning 15 out of 16 games. And remember, the Mets were left for dead. The manager went on WFN in New York and basically said, we need a miracle to get back in this thing. The general manager appeared to be a seller in late July when you were talking about Noah Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, amongst others. I never saw this coming. Anthony, I'm sure you never saw this coming. And you look at the heroics of the last 2 days. The Frazier homer to tie it. Conforto with the walk-off to win it. Then you look in the bottom half of the 8th inning and you see Seth Lugo give up the homer. And yet Luis Guillorme with a pinch hit homer to tie the game. And then J.D. Davis, who's been the Energizer Bunny, it feels like he is in the middle of everything. The first homer against Patrick Corbin, then the go-ahead sac fly to give you the lead. Everything is coming up Mets right now. And when you win 15 out of 16, you beat the Nationals in the fashion in which they did these last 2 games. It's tough not to believe.
Yeah, JJ, I was one of the people who had left them for dead. No question about it. I was very skeptical when they started this run, going against all the poor teams, but they did what they had to do. They pounded the bad stuff on their schedule, and that's what good teams do. They beat who they're supposed to beat, and then they take their chances in close games and tough games against the teams that they're competing with for playoff spots. And now they've wiped out the Nationals 2 games in a row here. 2 enormous games at Citi Field in a great playoff-like atmosphere. You can't not believe now. You have to believe. They don't lose anymore. And somebody else comes up with something, as you pointed out, every night. I mean, Luis Guillorme, give me a break.
That was supposed to be on the team a couple of days ago.
Right, exactly. You could argue that when they signed Joe Panik, that he should have been the guy who was off the roster and Hechavarria should have stayed. Now, clearly, the Mets did the right thing because this guy comes up with an enormous home run.
Now, we have killed the manager many times this year, but what do you think about the move to keep Lugo in the game?
Well, I loved it because Seth Lugo is your best reliever, period, end of discussion. And even though he gives up the homer in the top half of the 8th inning, I'm sorry, I'm going to have a lot more confidence in Lugo to go out there and do the job in the 9th inning as opposed to Edwin Diaz. And everybody killed Mickey Callaway earlier in the year. I was leading the charge. Don't get me wrong, but this manager deserves a lot of credit here. I question the idea of catching Wilson Ramos with the success that Noah Syndergaard has had with Tomas Nido. Syndergaard again throws the ball well. Wilson Ramos ends up hitting a home run. So whether it's Lugo pitching in the 9th inning, Ramos starting, Guillorme in the 8th inning, everything coming up Mickey Callaway, and Anthony, everything is coming up Mets.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm okay with the idea of Lugo closing on certain nights like this, and that seems to be what the Mets have in mind as well. But, let Edwin Diaz work out his problems. Mickey, I thought, did a great job tonight, not only leaving Lugo in to pitch the 9th, but in talking about Diaz after the game. He pointed out that he thinks that he's a winning player, that he wants to win. He's allowing things like this to happen, so the Mets can win, and instead of a guy clinging to a role and making a thing out of it. And it looks like we've got a little change in the closer role. It's going to be different. I'm sure Diaz is going to get opportunities as well, but I love leaving Lugo in there. JJ, you're absolutely right. He's the Mets' best reliever. He's one of the best relief pitchers in baseball this season, so you owe it to the other 24 guys in there that he's got to be on the mound in those kind of situations.
No doubt, and this has been done before. Remember, the Yankees took Aroldis Chapman out of the closer's role a couple of years ago. If the Yankees can take Aroldis Chapman out of the closer's role for a few weeks, Mets can do the same thing with Diaz as opposed to Lugo.
Absolutely.
Now, Jacob deGrom's basically virtually unbeatable in day games. He's pitching tomorrow. Is the sweep in the books here?
Well, you never want to say it's, signed, sealed, delivered, CJ. But, yeah, I'm going to like the Mets' chances in this game. Jacob deGrom is one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the National League. The Mets are rolling right now. The Nationals can't get out in the bullpen. There's no way in the world I'd be putting my money on the Nationals. No thanks.
Yeah, the Mets are set up as well as any team has been set up to sweep a division rival like this with their ace going on Sunday. But you're right. I mean, baseball is crazy. Sometimes crazy things happen. But the Mets are in a great spot, and they can really dig deep into this wild card race even more if they put the Nationals away with a sweep.
going back to Lugo and keeping him in the game, what does that say to the team, the hidden message there? You can have a mistake, but I still have confidence in you. Is it something there that the players can take?
I think the bigger one is that we're going to do what's necessary to win the game, and it doesn't matter if there's egos involved, if there's other things involved. We're in this to win, and we're not keeping things smooth. If it ruffles some feathers, that's what then that's it. That happens, and it's okay. But we got the right guy on the mound.
And it shouldn't matter. I mean, with the wins they've had over the last 2 days, I'm not worried about hurting anybody's feelings if I'm Mickey Callaway. Al Davis once said, just win, baby. If I'm the Mets, just win, baby.
And that's all they do.
Seriously, do they ever lose?
No,
I don't think so.
I can't remember the last time they lost.
I can't tell you.
All right, we're not losing here. We're winning. Coming up next, Gio Urshela goes deep again, but can the Yankees third baseman keep the good times going? The guys are sticking around to talk about that.